Hello and welcome to Cider Chat. In this here episode 229, I'll be sharing with you an orchard mystery series that actually takes place in my own very area of Ciderville, plus audio snapshots from Japan and Ireland. Hello and welcome to Cider Chat. My name is Rhea Windcaller and I am the producer and cider MC of this weekly podcast, where we speak with makers, cider enthusiasts, and folks within the cider trade from around the world. This past weekend, solstice arrived, which means for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, we have entered into summer and the days are getting shorter. I hate that. I really do. I love it in the winter. Like in the middle of the winter, it's like the days are getting longer, which is December 21st. But June, soon we'll be in the middle of summer. I hate to, I know, I'm sorry. I don't want to remind you of this, but that is how it happens. On the flip side, if you are in the Southern Hemisphere, you are now having longer days and you have just entered into winter full on. So there goes. The world keeps unrolling and us humans, we kind of get in our own way constantly. At least I do. Anywho, last weekend, solstice arrived and the English Heritage Foundation, I think it is. I'm not English Heritage, something or other. You could check it out on Facebook. They streamed Stonehenge live. And so on Saturday, the sunset there, they streamed it, and then sunrise on Sunday, they streamed that live. And it was just quiet. There was no chatter in the background with anybody, just looking at Stonehenge, a place that I've never been to. I think I would have liked it before they kind of made it all managed, and now it's different. I think you're going up in buses and stuff. I don't know. I don't know that much about it, really. Haven't not visited yet, so I shouldn't even think I have any authority there. But I do want to say, watching it live streamed, it was breathtaking, and people were all joining in around all over the world and posting. I'm listening from Brazil, and I watched the numbers increase during the live stream from, I got on at 40,000 people and went up to over 100,000 people were watching it all at the same time. And there's something about that collective consciousness that is undeniably cool, which is kind of the way I feel about this podcast here, just staying connected with each other and keeping the news going. So this week, and if you haven't noticed, in the past couple of episodes, I haven't been really putting out interviews with specific brands because it's just hard for me to look at it that way, where everybody is just trying to get through this stinking pandemic. And so I've changed the narrative a little bit on Cider Chat, and I hope you've been enjoying it as much as I have. We had recently a Stories in Ciderville posting, and that was from Ryan Monkman up in Fieldbird Cider in Ontario. A beautiful little read, and this is an opportunity for writers, aspiring writers, to submit an essay that then will be read by the author on Cider Chat, and we're looking for folklore tales. So you can look in the links in the show notes to info on that. And then also I've been putting out some audio snapshots, and we had the first two last week, one coming in from Red Island Cider in Prince Edward Island, that's on the east coast of Canada, and then from Oregon Cider Week, which is taking place right now as I'm speaking. And that was nice to hear from Emily Ritchie talking about her scene. Well, this week we're doing the same thing, and these are called audio snapshots. They're specific for cider folks in the trade. But I want to say, if you are an enthusiast and you have some good news, because audio snapshots here are all about good news, send them my way. And folks are just taking the phone, their smartphone, and using the voice recorder on the smartphone. I suppose you could do it right on your computer if you don't have a smartphone. You're kind of doing the old school flip phone and just record that way and then share it with me. and I will be posting it. So you're going to see that. We're going to roll out with that shortly. But first, I'd like to share with you about a book that just kind of came across to me. I think it came from like a thrift store or something. And I discovered an orchard mystery series. So we're going to get to that next.
Walking through the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet.
This little story here I want to share with you it's kind of, once again, a sign of cider synchronicity. Because this book came to me, I'm not even sure how. I think it was a thrift store. Maybe it's something that maybe my mom saw somewhere and passed it along. I'm not sure. Anyways, I've had it for about a year, and I'm feeling kind of bad that I didn't pick it up sooner and start reading it. And, what can I do? But you'll get in a moment why I feel bad about this. And it has to do with the author. But suffice to say, in 2008, this book came out, and it's titled One Bad Apple. And the story is based upon a woman who lives in Boston, and her mom has a house that's based in Western Massachusetts, where I live. And she moves out to this home that her mother wants to renovate and flip, essentially. It's been in the family for many, many years. And of course, for many, many years, these big old New England houses, there's a good chance there's an apple tree there. Well, not only is there an apple tree, but there's actually an orchard, which the program, the Integrated Pest Management Program at the University of Massachusetts, works on this orchard. Right. This kind of sounds like real life, right? In Western Massachusetts, a program that I know about at what we call UMass, the college, which is just a stone throw down the hill from where I live. Okay, maybe it's like a 20-minute drive, whatever. And this is all taking place in a fictitious town, which I think is probably either like Belchertown, Massachusetts, which is a great name, right? If you drink cider or beer, Belchertown, Massachusetts. I think it was named after Lord Belcher at one time. Or maybe it was Granby, because the made-up name is called Granford. But all the other towns surrounding it, like Hadley and Northampton and Amherst, are all real towns. And so are the programs and the apple varieties. And they're talking about pruning it. And the orchard is a big part of the story. And she actually has 12 books in the series, with which the last one was published in 2018 and is called Nipped in the Bud. And it's all based upon this story of her being at this orchard, and she keeps on finding bodies. Now, typically I stay away from stories like that because I'm super sensitive to mysteries and don't like gore. But this book here, it doesn't get super gory. It's more about the story behind it and the history. I'm digging it. I'm on One Bad Apple, and I'm going to go deeper into it. And of course, because of that, I always look up the author and think, my goodness, I'd like to talk to this person. I wonder if she's going to, has been to CiderDays, which had been right around the corner. And it turns out that she was living in Massachusetts. Well, not only was she living in Massachusetts, and by the way, her name is Sheila Connolly, she also had an affection for Ireland. Just a couple of years ago, bought a home in West Cork, which is part of County Cork, and then started a whole series called the County Cork Mystery Series. And wouldn't you know it, we're going to have Barry Walsh from Cork on this here episode. So talk about, again, cider synchronicity and how this all comes together. It just is constantly showing up. So if you are looking for a book to read that's a page turner, it's really easy, it's not super gore, and it's all based in an orchard, I think this is like the only orchard mystery series out there. I'm going to recommend this. It's by Sheila Connolly. And sadly, I found out while I was producing this episode and trying to hunt her down because I want to talk to her, get her on the podcast. Let's hear what she has to say. Sadly, she passed away in April of this year, which was 2 months ago. I believe it was either April 20th or the 25th that she passed. And thus, I am dedicating this episode 229, titled Orchard Mystery Series, to Sheila Connolly for her ability to have one of the main characters be an orchard throughout the entire Orchard Mystery Series, and for sharing her love of apples. Find links in the show notes to this here episode 229 to all her books in the Orchard Mystery Series and the County Cork Mystery Series 2. Up next is an audio snapshot from Lee Reeve of Cider Japan. This publication is both in hard copy and online, and you could get subscriptions for it, which I highly recommend. It covers news happening at the scene in Japan, which is just busting loose. So much good news coming out of there. And he is one of the key players in that part of the world that's really making it happen. He's just recently become an importer, so he's bringing ciders from primarily the UK right now and Australia. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a couple more countries out there by the time this podcast goes live. This guy's a dynamo. He's always super positive. And if you're on social media at all, I'm sure you've seen him plugging in some good cider energy out there, because that's what this guy's all about. So I was really stoked when he was able to send along this audio snapshot right now. Once again, this is Lee Reeve.
Hello Ciderville, this is Lee from Cider Japan with what's been going on in the country during the last few months. Things get started in March when Corona rears its ugly head. About that time, James Forbes from Little Pomona came over to promote a few of his ciders. Unfortunately, a lot of things here were closed, so I didn't get to do much. But I think he had a good time and managed to get back home safely, which is the most important thing. In April, the country was put under a nationwide state of emergency, so things kind of shut down. A lot of bars and restaurants, forced to close their doors. Which was changed into an allowance to do takeaway lunches and takeaway bottle sales. That helped a little, I suppose, but there were a lot of complaints about people hurting pretty bad. So April through May was pretty tough. We lost two of our biggest cider festivals in May that have now been, first they were cancelled and then now they've been postponed until September, but now it's June and things are kind of the emergency's been rescinded. Things are kind of open up again, and so we're just sort of seeing what's going to happen after this. As for Cider Japan, we've been doing okay. Our online site, Japan Cider Market, has been keeping us busy, and we'll just have to see what the rest of the year brings. If you're interested in keeping up with the news, please, we've got international subscriptions. Feel free to subscribe at www.inciderjapan.com or www.japancidermarket.com. I hope you're well, stay safe, and cheers.
How'd you like that Scottish accent from Lee, hey? I bet you didn't expect that coming out of Japan. But there you go. The world's a cool place, and he's a cool dude. And, it just reminds me, I've been watching this online show called Outlander on Netflix, and it all takes place in the Highlands of Scotland a long time ago, and hearing a lot of Gaelic and the Scottish, the accent's just dreamy. So cool stuff there. And truthfully, I was watching James Forbes from Little Pomona the whole time he was in Japan, and also watching as the world was shutting down around us. But I could tell James is having a really cool time, and what an opportunity. So thank you for the update. I'm happy to hear that it's moving forward there. And let's keep it on that track. As my mother says, pay attention to the laws of the virus. Anyways, coming up next, we're going to go to Ireland now and hear from Barry Walsh. He and his cousin are the makers behind Killahora Orchards Cider. You could go to episode 157, where you'll hear the full episode with Barry. He's giving us an update on that scene there in this COVID time. And we also have a song coming up too. So I'll talk a little bit more about that before we go into that song. So let's hear now from Barry Walsh of Killahora Orchards in Cork.
Hi Ria and all at Ciderville from Killahora Orchards here in Cork in Ireland. We've been locked down like everyone else, eventually coming out of it gradually the last week or two. Fortunately, we managed to get a nice few thousand litres of our Pommeau and our rare apple ice wine into different Irish whiskey barrels just before it started. Some grain, some malt, and we're potentially going to do a co-launch on a whiskey aged in our ex-Pommeau and cider barrels. So we're excited to start tasting those in the coming months. And we've even tried a Perry in a second fill Irish grain whiskey cask. Lots of floral notes in both, starting to taste very interesting. Had a first taste last week, kind of almost a Chardonnay feel to it. And it's picked up a nice little bit of oomph from the whiskey that was left over, which actually complemented it quite well thus far. So we just need to take care of that. On the orchard side, we unfortunately had a sad start to the year. Dave's father, my uncle Tim, passed away unexpectedly. So we've just come to terms with that as part of the wider scheme of things. But on the happier side, Dave and Kate's son Jack, who's only 10, has started mowing the grass in the orchard. So cycles continue, cycles of fruit, cycles of people, and onward and upward. And lastly, Ria asked me to possibly sing a song. There may be some space or time left in the podcast. And since I've already embarrassed myself by doing it before, sure, what's another go? I may as well double down and do another. So it's an old Irish song called Rocky Road to Dublin. I think it's probably 200 years old or so. It's about a man's journey from the west of Ireland all the way to the opportunities in the UK or England, as it would have been. It's only a second take. It's on a ukulele. There's some mistakes. It's just a little bit of positivity and cheeriness. Hopefully, it won't be too offensive to your ears. So I hope to talk to you all again sometime soon. Hope you're all well from Killahora Orchards in Cork.
Alrighty, so we have Barry's song coming up next. But before we go there, first I just would like to say from myself and for speaking for the rest of Ciderville, we send our condolences at the loss of Uncle Tim. And also, at the same time, a little tip of the hat there to young Jack for taking on the mowing. This is how the world's kind of come together in Ciderville. It's about family and friends and holding each other up. And I think it really reflects the product that is then produced. And you should know, if you haven't ever had Killahora Orchard Cider, that they have made some amazing products that have won some big awards. Most recently, the one that comes to mind happened in 2018 at the Royal Bath and West Cider Competition, where their Wild Apple Boucher won the Supreme International Championship for international ciders. And that is no small potatoes there. And they also have a rare apple ice wine, which is made with bittersweet and bitter sharp apples, and I have tasted it, and it is as good as it sounds. So you should check out this cidery as you can. I think you might have to head out to County Cork to check it out, and maybe bring Sheila Connolly's book to read while you're there. Now, moving on with the song, which is titled, once again, The Rocky Road to Dublin. I would like to just read to you up to the first chorus, just to give you a clear read of this and a little bit of a translation. In the merry month of June, from me home I started, left the girls of Tuam nearly broken-hearted, saluted father dear, kissed me darling mother, drank a pint of beer, me grief and tears to smother. Then off to reap the corn, leave where I was born. And what it means there to reap the corn is to reap my fortune, my future fortune. And continues on with, cut a stout black thorn to banish ghosts and goblins. A brand new pair of brogues rattling over the bogs, frightening all the dogs on the rocky road to Dublin. And the chorus goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin. Whack fo lo le ra. And continues on from there. And a little bit more translation per Wikipedia is that he's leaving his hometown and he's heading east. And he's kind of like a charmer and a little bit curious. He's got a little bit of a swagger. He arrives in the capital of Dublin and he tours the city, but he's robbed for his meager possessions. And then he attempts to locate the thief, but is mocked for his accent. Oy, oy, oy. Then he hops a ship in the harbor that's headed to England and is placed in the hold with pigs. Poor guy. Where he gets seasick. Anyways, he arrives in the English city of Liverpool, where he's also mocked once again because of his nationality. Oy, oy, oy. Losing his temper, he engages him in a fight using the blackthorn that he had cut. Yeah, but he gets a little outnumbered until a group of Irishmen from Galloway come to his rescue. And that's where it is. Some Galloway boys were nigh and saw I was a hobble in. With a loud hurrah, joined in the affray. We quickly cleared the way for the rocky road to Dublin. Yeah, nothing like a good Irish tune. And now I'm going to leave it to Barry Walsh of Killahora Orchards singing The Rocky Road to Dublin.
In the merry month of June, from me home I started, left the girls a tune, my nearly broken heart saluted father dear. Kissed me darling mother, drank a pint of beer, me grief and tears to swallow, then off to reap the corn, leave where I was born, cut a stout black horn to banish ghosts and goblin, brand new pair of brogues, rattling o'er the bog, scaring all the dogs on a rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hump the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin. Whack-a-lal-dee-da. That night, rested limbs so weary, started by daylight. Next morning, bright and early, took a drop of the pure, keep me heart from sinking. That's the paddy's door when air is on for drinking. To see the lasses smile, laughing all the while at me curious style, it set your heart to bubbling. Axe if I was hired, wages I required till I was almost tired of the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin. Whack-a-lal-dee-da. In Dublin next arrived, I wasn't it a pity be so soon deprived of you of that fine city. Took a wander round, out amongst the quality bundle, it was stolen in a neat locality. Something crossed me mind when I looked behind, no bundle could I find. On my stick a wobble inquiring for the rogue, they said me Connacht rogue wasn't much in vogue on the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin. Whack-a-lal-dee-da. Jesus, may as well keep going. From there I got away, since never sailing, landed at the cave just as the ship was sailing. Captain at me roared, said that no room had he when I jumped aboard. A pab found for Paddy down amongst the pigs, danced some hearty jigs of boiled the blood to rigs. The water round me bubbling then in Holyhead, wishing I was dead, or better yet instead in the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin. Whack-a-lal-dee-da. The boys of Liverpool, when we safely landed, called myself a fool. No longer could I stand it, poor old Erin's Isle. They began to abuse and blood began to boil. Me temper was I losing, hurrah, me soul says I shall lay. I let fly some Galway boys nearby, they saw I was a hobbling. Without hooray we joined in the affray, we quickly cleared the way for the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road and all the way to Dublin. Whack-a-lal-dee-da.
Oh my goodness, I love that song. I kind of popped out of the chair every time where it's like hunt the hare. The way you say that, hunt the hare, it's just brings you right there and makes me want to like head to County Cork now and drink some cider and hang out in the pubs, listen to good Irish music, drink whiskey, drink beer, have some food, and dang. Thank you for bringing a piece of your perfect spot in Ciderville to us. And if you are out there in Ciderville, in the cider trade, and want to share an audio snapshot, please do. It's just a 2-minute little ditty. You could even sing a song. Just send it to me, ria@ciderchat.com. And while you're at it, if you have a little story, send a story to Stories in Ciderville too. All that info and more is on the show notes to this here episode 229. And with all that, I leave you here. This is Rhea Windcaller signing off for now. Looking forward to seeing you in Ciderville.
We like cider, we like palms, we love orchards and having fun. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes there is. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes there is. There is a reason why we drink it like this. Oh yes there is a reason. We like walking through the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet. We like cider, we like palms, we like orchards, having some fun. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes there is. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes there is. There is a reason why we drink it like this. Oh yes there is. There is a reason. We like walking through the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet. Oh yeah. We like cider. Oh yes we do. We like palms. Oh yes we do. We love orchards, having some fun. There is a reason why we do it like this. Ba-da-da-dum. There is a reason why we do it like this. Ba-da-da-dum. There is a reason why we drink it like this. Ba-da-da-dum. Ba-da-da-dum. We like walking down the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet. Oh yeah. We like cider. Ba-da-da-dum. We like palms. Oh yes we do. We like orchards, having some fun. Yeehaw!